All right, guys, welcome back. Pocket Change Market Report time. This is the midweek edition for December 14th, 2022. So I figure, hey, we have a few weeks left in the month of December. We realize that the actual market for these type of coins has been pretty good, well received. This particular report in particular, never mind. Yeah, it's midweek, guys. I'm not at my optimal performance here, but a lot of people have been hitting the buy it now buttons, okay? Which means one thing. The actual price of a lot of these coins are correct. People are actually listening to this report. You know, I'm not saying that I'm the go-to specialist in this sort of thing, but I'd say, you know, with an average view rate of about 10 to 20,000 people that watch the PCMR every single time I put it up, people do understand that pricing your coins at the right level, and this is all going into actually doing homework, making sure that you're not overcharging, that you're selling, you know, the coin that you say you have, are all some of the ingredients to success. So finding these errors and varieties is one half of the battle. The second half that a lot of people don't really pay too much stock into is the actual selling part of it. And I'm glad just to see some success rolling out there on the secondary market, and that people are really kind of embracing what needs to be done to be successful. I wanted to take also a moment to talk about a comment that someone had made on one of my previous PCMRs. And it usually doesn't bother me, but it certainly deserves a little bit of a response. The person said, "Why do you waste your time showing all of these $20, $30, $50 coins? You need to just show $500 coin values and up." And my response is, I think you lost the idea of what this report means. Okay, it has nothing to do with like finding the big lottery odds type stuff and then just kind of like overstepping the $20, $30 change fines. It has nothing to do with that. All right. I mean, if you want something like that, then go buy some scratchers, because that's not how Homie rolls here. The idea is finding all of the errors and varieties across a wide spectrum of various values. The only way that you'll be able to be successful in making the money that you do deserve in the hobby, let alone adding some really nice pieces to your collection, really means not short selling yourself in finding some of these coins. If all we're doing is constantly looking out for that 1992 Close AM Lincoln set, or that 69S Lincoln Double to Die FS101, if we're just doing that 100% of the time and not paying any attention to some of the more minor stuff, you're going to ultimately fail. So this, ladies and gentlemen, I do the PCMR every single week. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, obviously, but there are people that really could use the extra $100 a week, $200 a week, whatever. All right. And by doing so, not only are you going to be making that money, but you're also going to be building a brand. And as you build the brand, you make more money, you get more sales. It's all about cultivating a relationship with the buying community and the coin community, if that's kind of like your direction you're going into, to be successful. So to just simply say, oh, well, why don't you do a report that's all $500 coins and up, is incredibly short-sighted and very naive. You don't want to do that. I'm not about to go out and change this person's mind because all they care about is the dollar signs, but they're not interested in the long-term developmental growth stuff that comes along with building a business. You could certainly turn this into a business if you wanted to, but it could also be a great outlet to, help you along the way, whether it's you need extra cash or you like doing this as a hobby and you like to buy, sell, trade online. You're building relationships, you're building a brand, you're building reputation. So if you're going to constantly keep on shooting for the super rarities, you're going to be out of the hobby quicker than you could bat an eye. So I wanted to throw that out there. Thank you for the comment, by the way. I responded to you in this video with that. It doesn't bother me, but you do need to know why I do this. I've been doing the PCMR for, what guys? Vouch for me here. 4 years? And a lot of my viewing audience gets a lot of information from it, but there are a lot of people also that take this information and they run with it. It's a tool for them. I don't charge anything for this, except maybe a few ads. Who cares? I don't charge a membership like some other content creators would for this kind of information. People have done really well. People have shared in with their big wins. I sold these coins and I bought this one really big coin. I get that all the time. And congratulations to everyone that has. All right, enough about that. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Believe it or not, we have 25 solid listings on this PCMR, all within the last 12 hours worth of eBay sold activity. That's it, 12 hours. It's been quite busy. All right, how about a 1981 Lincoln Memorial cent? Yeah, I didn't rotate the reverse. That's why it's upside down. Sorry about that. But anyways, this is just a really nice example of a coin that is off-center by about 35-40%. Obviously, there are collectors that jump into these type of errors and they collect them by date. So 1981 is not something that I would consider to be an incredibly common date like a 99 or 2000, but it is a little bit tougher to find out there. You might see a couple of these sold every month, and if you need one that's in relatively decent shape, you might have a little bit harder time finding it, or you're going to end up paying more for them. So if you're out there at coin shops or the show and someone has a date of off-center struck coin that you just don't see that often, and it's priced reasonably, consider picking it up, if only for flipping it. This one right here sold for $25.39. Not too bad. The coin looks good, but again, this goes into a very niche collection for this error. The next one that we have here, boy, this thing has seen a little bit of life around people's pockets and change jars and cash register stands. This is a 1985 P Roosevelt dime that exhibits some pretty nice die clashing. So the strongest, I would say, is on the reverse. Here's some close-ups of certain areas on the coin. There's some pretty good clashing in front of Roosevelt's eyes and forehead right here. You also have a little bit of a olive sprig clashing, back of neck right above the mint mark. But on the reverse, boy, pretty nice sharp clashing of Roosevelt's outline, his bust right there, along with little remnants of the motto and date as well. Just a really sharp looking error in spite of its circulation wear. It even has a little bit of corrosion on the front of the coin. It's still managed to sell for $17.35 with 5 bids. Keep an eye out for these. They sell in virtually any grade. This one I would say is a pretty low grade example for a denomination that generally doesn't get a whole lot of circulation wear. The next one that we have here is actually the most common variety type that you will encounter on the Franklin half dollar series, but you still should know about it because these are actually very widely collected. They're quite popular to this crowd of Franklin half lovers, I guess. But Bugs Bunny die clashes are a really cool variety to be on the lookout for. 1955 is one of the more common dates to find this anomaly. The coin is actually in very, very nice condition. You know, it looks like just a gem BU came fresh out of a roll, and it's sitting here for someone to hit the buy it now button, and someone certainly did. And I think they got a really good deal here, even though this is a much more common date for a Bugs Bunny. But you notice that good old Benny boy over here, it looks like he has some werewolf teeth or vampire teeth. That's actually the clashing of the eagle on the reverse of the coin that clashed onto the obverse die at one point, thereby in the perfect spot, leaving this this kind of like grisly, werewolfy Benjamin Franklin look. And these are across a bunch of different dates of the Franklin $half series. Take it from someone like Adam Chambers, also known as Coins and Ghouls. He's on our live coin Q&A panel. Has been cherry picking and hunting these things out for quite a while now. Has assembled a very nice selection of them, and probably has some of the more rarer Bugs Bunny dates that you will ever see in your life. As a matter of fact, I think he has a few top pop examples too. He grades all of them, by the way. So this one right here ended up at $35.50. A small little bump in premium because it is a BU coin. Those typically sell for what, 20, 25 bucks by themselves. So an extra $10 for the Bugs Bunny is about the lowest entry that you could find for a Bugs Bunny coin at all within this series. Here's a few pretty nice errors from the same dealer on eBay. We have a 1988p Washington quarter. This one's slightly off-center by about, I'd say, 10%. The coin, I would say, is a pretty solid, middle-of-the-road, mid-state example, probably like a 64, 65. Good-looking coin, again. Someone that needs this for a date set would scoop this up. This one ended up selling for $23.38. This is a date that you could come across pretty easily on online if you need it. Here's one of the more crazier coins on today's list. I mean, at first glance, this thing is unassuming. It looks like there's nothing going on with this coin, but if you take a close look, this 1998p Roosevelt dime actually is a double struck coin in collar with a ever so slight rotation. You can see the back of the first strike of Roosevelt's head here. Not a whole lot going on the obverse. You can see some on Liberty as well. That's kind of like the look of a coin that is double struck. On the reverse, you have a little bit of doubling, very slight rotation. It's very minor, probably maybe a 10% or 10-degree rotation. You do have you can see the doubling of the previous strike, by the way, of the olive branch or sprig here. But overall, I mean, this thing right here, the second strike, the coin didn't eject out at all. The second strike must have been really light for it to not be as strong as some of the other examples I've seen. But someone who knows their errors looked at this and they're like, yep, sure enough, that's a double struck error. This one ended up selling for $103.88. So a $100 bill plus the shipping. Bing, bang, boom. You have a very, very scarce error on a very tough date. All right, check your silver. You might find something like this. This is a 1964D Washington quarter. You can see this one has actually two clips. One slightly curved right here, and then another smaller one here on the other side. It looks like this is not Blakesley effect. It really does look like it's got two clips. That one's quite shallow in comparison, but so this one ended up selling for $27.38. Turning a coin that customarily is worth what, $6 into $27 is a pretty good return. And these clips are about the most common errors that you could come across on just about any coin. Here's another staple in error coins from the past 12 months, and this is a 2021 Washington crossing the Delaware with the full progressed crown die chip right on top of Washington's hat. You can see here on the reverse. So the piece of the die, just through general wear and tear and attrition, had fallen off, thereby creating this gabagool right on top of his hat, and it actually goes into E pluribus unum. It's the most advanced stage of this. They do come in like little smaller sizes, so look out for those as well. Those are still quite valuable. Not bad here, $104.65. The market hasn't completely dropped off the face of the earth with this particular error. It's still actually a very, very highly liquid coin. If you have it, you'll have no problem selling it even a year after it's been discovered. Here's another good one here, 1989p Jefferson nickel. This one's off center by quite a bit, probably 60%, give or take. Very nice mid-state example as well, that this will fit into a date set of this particular type, or maybe just as a standalone great example of this error. $41.24 was the final sale price on this one. Well, this one's not too bad. I generally see quite a bit more of this particular variety on 38D Buffalo to be much nicer condition. I've seen a lot of like mid-state 65s and up of this coin sell on the marketplace, and they usually, command many hundreds of dollars in those grades. But how about one that looks like it came out of circulation, or maybe just a lower grade example that was sitting in a dealer kind of bin or overstock. But this is a D over S mint Buffalo nickel. You can see a little bit of a close-up, a little bit pixelated, but you can see the inner curl of the S right there, which is what you want to see. This thing's not all gummed up with grease and crap in there, and it's got just enough information to let you know that this is one of the good ones to look out for. And let's see. Someone had mentioned something about these coins. That must not be too important. But anyways, yeah, not too bad. $20 was the sale price on this. If we went back to the previous picture, grade-wise, we always kind of use the horn detail to determine grade. And usually with a Buffalo nickel, if you have like a full horn, this one's not quite full, but pretty close to it. I would say this one's in that fine 12 category, maybe VG8, VG10, somewhere around there. VG8, I think it's more of a worn horn on this one, but there's enough of an outline to make the call that it's somewhere in that fine 12 region. So I've seen much nicer examples. The obverse of the coin looks actually way better than the reverse grade-wise. Again, there's another look at the mint mark. Someone had asked, how do you get a Denver over San Francisco minted coin? And it depends on who you ask because these were punched independently into the working die. Sometimes, say, San Francisco Mint will produce dies already that have the S Mint mark, and then let's say Denver Mint needed some ready-made dies for that particular date, and considering that this is a 38 Denver, they never produced a Philadelphia or San Francisco minted example of a 38 Buffalo from either of those two facilities. Maybe it was kind of like a quick change. Maybe the Mint said, hey, San Francisco Mint, we're actually not going to use you for the production of Buffalo nickels. Whatever dies you have, send them to Denver, and they will use those. They'll do whatever they need to do. So a Mint employee would tap into Denver Mint mark above the S Mint that's already on those particular working dies. So just to let you guys know, that's how they've been doing it. They were doing it a lot more. It was more commonplace in the earlier days of the 20th century. And that's why you're able to see things like the 44D over S over mint mark Lincoln, is because that was a common practice between the Denver and San Francisco mints. So just to let you guys know, that's how that works. So, by the way, that was a $20 bill for that coin. They do get a lot more expensive if the grade goes up. So how about another off-center coin? This one not as fantastic because it doesn't have a full readable date, but this is actually a 90% silver coin. This is a pre-65 example here. Don't know what the date is. That's really immaterial at this point on this one. It's off-center per the seller by 85%. It's awfully close to that. This one ended up selling for $70 because it's an outgoing composition that's not being used today. That's kind of where the additional premium is for these particular errors. So a number of these did sell this week, and I've given you a little bit more information as to where these things are settling at. They're all of the Wilma Mankiller 2022 Ps with just the obverse retained cut that you could see on top of Washington's head. This one right here, the seller actually typed this into the listing. It's actually quite neat, although wrong, but it's a great way of describing it. He referred to this as a 3D protrusion on the coin, and not really used cud or retained cut at all in the listing title. But nonetheless, this one right here ended up selling for $250. There's quite a few little scratches here and there all across the back and front of the coin. Just kind of letting us know that this one did circulate a little bit, although it's in still pretty nice shape. So maybe that $150 sale from like a week ago is a one-off anomaly, because I had mentioned that the market might be kind of tightening up and drying out demand for these, thereby leading to lower prices. They're not $350 to $400 like they once were, but they're still commanding a really good amount of cash. If you need the cash and you got these, they're a great sell right now. Yeah, $250 for that one. Here's a miscut 2001 $20 bill. No misalignment here. Everything's pretty well aligned to each other. The second and third print looks good there, and then the back print, there you go. Also a little bit off center, so that means it's a miscut. And no, this was not from a novelty sheet from the BEP. It's not within that serial number range. So with all things considering, great sale here, $122.88 with 11 bids was the final sale price on this note. Here's another Wilma Mankiller, obverse retained cud. This one is like in a lot better shape than the previous example. And guess what? It does not have any of the strike through that you see on the previous one as well. So just a retained cud right there on the obverse. This is a really good sale at $305.60. This is more along the lines of what I expect to see from these for until sometime next year. Now here's one that you do see come across the auction block on occasion, especially lower graded examples, and that's the 1937 D three-legged buffalo. There's no shame whatsoever in selling these raw because they're highly identifiable. People know what fakes look like of this coin. A few of the things to keep an eye out for is going to be kind of like this pebbly, kind of like rusted dye semicircle that's right underneath Black Diamond's belly area. But of course, the very weakly struck hind leg as well are two of the things that you need to look out for on legitimate examples. Now, the front leg, all you can see is a hoof on the ground. This front leg was over abraded or over polished, in more layman's terms, by a mint employee, and that's why it's completely gone. This one right here, I mean, here's more practice for you guys on horn designation for grade. This has got about, probably this is more of a VG8 grade, as you can see. It's got less of that horn detail than the previous example of buffalo that we saw earlier in this show. This one sold for $667.75. Not really paying too much attention about how this one falls in line with the market value of similarly graded coins, but all I can tell you is these coins are just so incredibly expensive, even for coins that grade as low as this one. So if you think by going to maybe a VG grade is where it's going to be to get a much more affordable coin, you might want to rethink that, because there is kind of a floor for these. Short of one that's been run over by a steamroller. Those things won't be worth nearly as much, but good looking coin and a great example as maybe for type, in this case. So we did have this is we had three of these. I put three of them in here so that way you guys have a quick kind of like idea of what the average kind of rate is for these. So here's another one of these. This one has a little bit of the strike through. You can see that on the edge. There's some missing detail in certain areas, and also on the reverse in certain areas. This one right here, $343.10. So it's looking like the average for all three coins comes in at just under $300. So not too bad. Still a pretty nice, sizable grip of cash if you need it. Again, I can't really say that a year from now, as interest wanes on these and maybe other new errors come on the scene. Yeah, you might want to unload these now while the iron's still hot. And here's another off-center Roosevelt. We actually had a few of these, and it's so funny. You could go literally 2-3 weeks without finding any off-center struck Roosevelt dimes. But I guarantee you, this one's a little bit tougher date. 1994P is one that I don't see come up onto the market too often. This one's in pretty nice shape as well. It's off-center by about 55%. And give it up for a $36.07 sale with 6 bids. And this one's quite cute. Cuds are always king. Even the tiny ones get a little bit of respect as well. Here's a large date 1982D copper Lincoln cent with a little tiny cud over the word trust on the obverse there. Yeah, that's still a cud. A cud's a cud is a cud. And that's what this one is. $30.56 with 14 bids was your sale price on this. This might be our last piece of currency. We only had a few of them here this go around, but here's this is a truly genuine misaligned overprint. You can see it shifted way to the left a little bit there, overlapping some of that third print to the second print. And this one is actually in really nice shape as well. There's a little bit of a back pick, probably a net XF type of grade here. $72.71 with 25 bids was the sale price for this example. All right, so this one was pulled off, and assuming that maybe it was a sale made off of eBay. But this is a 1980D Lincoln Memorial cent that is number one broad struck, and number two features what they call a straight clip, and a cool looking coin. You know, it has a couple weird stains on there, but yeah, this is a second PCMR in a row that I've seen one of these for sale, probably from the same seller. You know, they probably collected these for a while, but. Pretty nice solid sale here. This one was available for $50, so I'll assume that it sold somewhere around that amount of money. Good looking, very unique coin. Here's a 2000p Sacagawea dollar. I bet you guys know what's on this one. And you guessed it, it's another Wounded Eagle. So if people are selling like 7 to 10 of these per week, what is that telling everybody? These are really not that rare at all. And they were minted into oblivion, I would imagine. So with that being said, this is one that I would certainly pursue if your banks have these rolls left, or any golden dollar rolls. You know, they might have presidential ones mixed in there. I don't care. Go ahead and find these and look for the Wounded Eagle reverse coins. These are FS901 in case you need a little refresher on Cherry Picker's Guide catalog number. But there you go. A couple of really cool paired up die gouges on the reverse. These are actually raised on the in relief on the reverse of the coins. They're not actual scratches in the coins. So this example here, very nice one by the way, is sold for $131.45. I think I did a pretty good job imposing these pictures. The guy had them on his leg in his car, I suppose, or somewhere. You could tell it was on his leg because, well, you could see his leg. But the pictures are actually quite clear. But this was a coin that was, or a Lincoln cent that was struck through I would say more so a mid-stage cap die. Because you do have a little bit of a brockage on there. You could see like Lincoln's profile the date to an extent, and Liberty. So that's pretty neat to see. You don't see them generally with a brockage that's quite this strong. This one ended up selling for $60.30 with 11 bids. Very attractive coin, and of course these are very, very highly coveted in the error community. Okay, so this is going to be a great kind of comparison between a coin that is all original, untampered with, compared to one, as you guys know, Buffalo nickels have weird wear patterns on them because of how high, certain devices are set on the coin, so they wear a lot quicker, like the date, for example. So if a date is completely worn off, folks use acid to bring up the date details. They actually call it Nicodate, which is a product that's out there that you just, put a couple drops of this acid right in on that date area of the coin, and it brings up the date as if it never went anywhere. So one of the popular ones that people want to look for is this 1918/7 Denver minted Buffalo nickel. This is a very, very popular overdate, and unless you have like one that grades out VF and higher, all right, those particular coins command many thousands of dollars. But if you need a more bargain version, just go ahead and buy up a bunch of dateless Buffaloes with a Denver mint mark on the reverse and go to town, which is probably what we have here. So this one, as you can tell, there is a darker discolored area over the date. That means this one has been nicodated. But this one is a genuine 1918/7. You can tell because there's that half, or that D-shaped circle right here in the top loop of the 8. That's always a dead giveaway. On better condition coins, you could actually see a flat topped 8 where the 7 is. Great looking coin. Now, if this was problem free without the acid etch, this would be like $1,000 coin all day long. However, because of that, how about $255.55? Which is not nothing. If you can't read the date, then just nicodate it, right? And you'll still do okay if you could correctly identify this overdate, which is, man, a mid-state version sold for over $100,000 at one point. So that just gives you an idea of the scarcity and just how valuable they are to people that want them. All right, the last couple coins are just really neat oddities. Here's a 2021 Lincoln Shield cent that's off-centered and also exhibits a little bit of a partial collar as well. Errors were a thing last year in our circulating coinage. There's just no getting around that. People were having a lot of fun looking for these. This one has seen a little bit of circulation wear. $55.60 was the final sale price for this one. Very, very surprising sale price outcome, considering that I've seen similar ones sell for about half that. Always a popular repunch mint mark on a 56D. So the secondary Denver mint mark on this one was punched westward of the primary. This is of course FS501. In the Cherry Picker's Guide, this is the one that you should be looking for 100% of the time. These are very identifiable. Some would say they're naked eye visible. I would certainly use a magnifier just to double check. This one right here, pretty good sale in this condition at $16.50. And then finally, look through your junky silver. Now, I'm going to give you guys a few dates. Go ahead and jot them down. 1934, 1937, 1942, and 1943, especially the S-Mint 43s. There are some crazy doubled die obverses on all of these dates, and there's quite a few of them too. Make sure you're looking out for these. Even in the lowest grades, they're still desired because nobody can afford the mid-state versions of these, of course. But this is a 37 here. As you can tell, conditions really nothing to write home to mother about. But the doubling just cannot be denied. Look at the motto, "In God We Trust." You can see notching for days. The T in trust, by the way, is crazy looking. Both of them are. but also the date as well. You can see the doubled 1, 9, 3, and 7 with the notching, especially on the top right corner of that 1 there. It just is awesome. Even in a coin that I would say grade's no better than like AG3. I mean, that's how low grade I think this coin could be. Still ends up being a really good sale. How about $132.50? Yeah, double check your silver. You'd be surprised how many people overlook these. And there are a bunch of other dates, guys. If I were you, hop on like a website like doubleddie.com or Variety Vista and just look at the just massive amount of varieties that you can look for in the older pre-65 silver days. It could end up being a party if you have many of these coins, like I do. I found my fair share of these popular varieties, and they're just a lot of fun. It doesn't matter the grade either. Well, that's going to go ahead and do it on this midweek edition of the Pocket Change Market Report. Thank you guys again for all of the views and support. Sorry to keep the kind of intro of the video so long-winded. I had a few kind of house cleaning things I needed to address. But happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Hopefully you guys are having fun in this hobby, and keep on hunting. People are cashing in their money right now. These folks and their kids are rolling up coin in record amounts. So there's a lot of like new inventory out there to search through. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. I also have a TikTok. Come on by if you like the shorter fare. And follow me on there as well. But that's it, guys. I'm out. And you guys get to hunting. See ya.